Professional Apex Legends is falling apart. Over the last 10 months, some of the game's biggest organizations have decided to cease all operations. And on top of teams like Liquid, G2, C9, as of last Friday, NRG has become the latest org to pack their bags and leave. As a result, it's left many people wondering who is to blame for this recent mass exodus. So on Friday, North American org NRG announced their wholesale departure from Apex Legends. NRG has been a part of the scene since pretty much the beginning, so the community was reasonably gutted by this news. At the same time, NRG's captain Sweet Dreams released a video of him explaining the situation. And although he seemed hopeful about his own future, he did have an opinion on why this actually happened.
To many of you, this may come as a surprise, but to the team of people inside of NRG, this has been a long time coming. NRG began scaling back their Apex interests when they parted ways with the majority of their content creators earlier this year. Along with that, NRG also did not have a merch booth at any of the LANs and seemingly was not very interested in the esport, unfortunately. EA is mostly to blame here, considering the orgs and EA never reached an agreement about a revenue share, and as much as Apex seems like it's doing great during LAN time, there are some foundational issues that limit the esport from growing any further.
This did seem to be a mutual decision between the actual team and the org itself, and Sweet later did admit that there were a lot of factors involved. But as he made it clear, most of his ire is directed towards EA, and not just for the woes of his own current situation, but the actual overall health of the current esports scene. A sentiment that's widely held by much of the Apex community. You see, EA has long been criticized for not doing enough to actually support the orgs. Example, providing them with opportunities to actually make money, something desperately needed right now. For a multitude of reasons, rosters are very expensive, from player salaries to daily operations. So much so that tournament earnings and even sponsorships aren't enough to keep things going for a lot of teams. Because of this, many orgs look to the actual game companies themselves, since they're pretty much the only ones capable of making meaningful amounts of money off of the player base. How, you may ask? Well, it's simple. Microtransactions. If you look at Counter-Strike, for example, teams who qualify for majors make a considerable amount of money off of sticker sales, like a ton. Same goes with the Dota 2 Battle Pass and even Rocket League team decals. Orgs can sell as many dry fit jerseys as they want, but it will never compare to the money you can make from in-game cosmetics. But to get that, you are at the behest of the video game companies. Luckily though, this exact thing was going to happen in Apex Legends. Last year, it was rumored that a revenue sharing program was in the works where select orgs would make money off of team skins. However, according to multiple sources, EA denied the 50-50 revenue split teams were asking for, and instead would only offer a one-time flat licensing fee of $60,000. Counter negotiations went nowhere, and eventually EA scrapped the entire idea completely. Ever since, orgs have been dropping like flies, and in this most recent case, people at NRG specifically cited this failed revenue split as a reason for their exit. All of this has continued to add fuel to the fiery debate online regarding who is responsible for the current state of Apex Legends. EA for not playing ball, or the orgs for not doing enough to diversify their revenue streams. Listen, on one hand, yeah, orgs probably shouldn't have been so naive as to assume EA was going to actually do something to benefit anyone other than themselves, and sure, they don't have the obligation to either. But at the same time, it's not ridiculous for these teams to need to rely on EA in the first place. Esports as a whole is generally not doing too hot right now, and teams are running out of ways to make money. Sure, everyone on Reddit may seem to have the answer as to what these orgs are doing wrong, but it's not that easy. If you sit down and try to think of a new way for a team to make money, it's probably A, been tried already, or B, bad idea. If Valve stopped their revenue splits tomorrow, their scenes would probably look a lot different by the end of the year. Now, I'm not saying that orgs are completely blameless in all of this, but EA, just like Valve and Riot, are well aware of the state of things. And this could have been an easy way to pump just a little bit of life back into the scene. And, in turn support the players who are the ones that drive the fans to actually buy these cosmetics in the first place. Now, nobody makes any money, and the scene loses the big orgs that help legitimize it. Sure, competitive Apex isn't dying tomorrow, but it does diminish some of the prestige. Once again, just another day in the life of the current esports industry. Fact is, teams just cost more to run than what orgs often want to pay. It sucks, but it's the truth. And realistically, game companies don't need to lift a single finger. People are still going to play Apex Legends for fun and buy the Battle Pass, with or without NRG. Do I personally think that a booming esports scene elevates a game in both longevity and legacy? Absolutely. Does EA give a shit about my opinion? Fuck no. But what do you guys think? Well, like the thing is like I mentioned, other games have the benefit of having like these revenue splits, and it may seem like trivial from the outside, but like you make so much money. Like Navi said they made like over $1 million in sticker sales, and like it pays the players too. It's like crazy amounts of money. And I'm not kidding, where like these big teams will disappear if Valve stopped doing that because it just wouldn't be worth it for them.